we're live. We're not quite yet.
All right, we need at least one more count. Oh, no, I guess we got a quorum. Yes, we're good. We're good to go.
You are now you are live on YouTube, and yes, you have a quorum.
I have 5:59 p.m. And is the applicant in the room if we need?
He is supposedly joining us, so let me just check and see if he's here. Yes, he is here. Whenever you're ready, he can be moved over.
Only if we need him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Councilor Ladwig. Okay, I have 6 p.m. I will call to order this public hearing for Tuesday, June 15, 2021, and acknowledge that it is being held within the traditional territory of the Squamish Nation. Good evening and welcome to the public hearing being held electronically as authorized by Ministerial Order number M192, Local Government Meetings and Bylaw Process COVID-19 Order number 3. This public hearing is being held to consider zoning amendment bylaw 1065-60 to rezone an undeveloped portion of a lot located at the intersection of Venture Way and Payne Road to permit subdivision. I acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Squamish Nation. I will introduce council members present this evening. Councilor Illyria Ladwig, Deputy Mayor Anne Marie D'Andrade, Councilor David Kroll, and Councilor Stafford Lumley. Staff members present this evening are interim CAO Mark Brown, Director of Corporate Services Rebecca Anderson, Director of Planning Leslie Ann Statz, and Recording Secretary Lori Mosselman. I am Mayor Bill Beamish and Chair of this evening's proceedings. All persons who believe their interests are affected by the proposed bylaw shall be given an opportunity to be heard on the matters contained in the proposed bylaw, or to submit their written submissions to the corporate officer before tonight's hearing is adjourned. Under the Local Government Act, the chair of a public hearing is entitled to make procedural rules for the conduct of the public hearing. For this public hearing, we will use the following protocol. Persons wishing to speak during this public hearing are invited to use the raise hand feature by clicking on the hand icon found at the bottom of your screen. The meeting administrator will then add you to the speakers list, and you will be able to unmute and turn your video on when it is your time to speak. Please identify yourself clearly, stating your name and residential address before beginning to address council. Speakers are allowed up to 5 minutes to make their presentation and may not transfer all or part of their allotted time to another speaker. Members of council are present to hear your submissions and not to answer questions or debate the merits of the bylaw under consideration. Council members may ask for clarification from members of the public after their submissions, and I would ask them to do that through me as well. Persons wishing to speak a second time may do so only after all other persons wishing to speak have been provided an opportunity to speak for a first time. Persons speaking a second time will be limited to 3 minutes. A written submission may be submitted via email to clerk@gibsons.ca in lieu of speaking, providing it is received prior to the close of the public hearing. All written submissions will be circulated to council and will become part of the public record. Director of Planning Leslie Ann Statz will now introduce the proposed zoning amendment bylaw.
Thank you, Mayor. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation, but I don't see any. I've got the applicant in the attendees list, so I will just do a quick overview of this zoning amendment.
Thank you.
The zoning amendment application is to reduce or to rezone the undeveloped portion of the property that is located east of Payne Road, both north and south of Venture Way. The purpose of the rezoning is to enable subdivision of the lot portion from the parent parcel, and also to update the zoning to a Town of Gibsons zone. So the current zone of the property is SCRD under SCRD zoning bylaw number 310. So it's commercial 5, and it is in subdivision district F, which allows a minimum parcel size of 8,000 square meters. And we would rezone this to light industrial 1 under the town zoning bylaw with a site-specific minimum lot area of 1,000 meters with no minimum lot width or depth to facilitate the subdivision within the constraints of the roads and the siting of that parcel. So the bylaw was given first and second readings on May 18th. The resolution to hold this public hearing today was adopted by Council on May 18th. A notice of public hearing was advertised for 2 consecutive weeks in the Coast Reporter on June 4th and June 11th. And the bylaw will be presented for third reading at tonight's council meeting at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now ask the corporate officer, Rebecca Anderson, to note and present any written submissions received to date regarding the proposed zoning amendment bylaw.
Thank you, Mayor Beamish. There were no written submissions received relating to the proposed bylaw amendment. As noted, individuals may choose to forward written submissions via email to clerk, C-L-E-R-K, at gibsons.ca up to the close of this hearing. Those submissions will be collated at adjournment and circulated to council for consideration.
Thank you, corporate officer. We will now seek public input. Is there anyone wishing to speak for or against the proposed zoning amendment bylaw?
If you wish to speak, please raise your hand and I will move you over so that you can be seen. No hands are raised, Mayor Beamish.
Thank you. I will ask for a second time. Is there anyone wishing to speak for or against the proposed zoning amendment bylaw?
No hands are raised, Mayor Beamish.
And for a third and final time, is there anyone wishing to speak for or against the proposed zoning amendment bylaw?
And no hands have been raised.
I will now ask Corporate Administrator Rebecca Anderson to note and present any written submissions received during this public hearing.
And there were no written additional submissions received during this public hearing.
There being no further input, I hereby adjourn this public hearing. Thank you for your attendance. Council, we'll see you at 7 o'clock. Thank you very much, staff. Thank you very much for your participation, and thank you, corporate officer, for your organization and script, which led us through. Thank you very much.
Well, that's Lori. That was all Lori. Thank you.
You made it very easy, Lori. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Evening.
Take care.